Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered how to maintain a positive attitude? Well, we got a show for you.
We're of course he did. Yeah, right. Quit messing with the screen, dude. It's all quiet. Can't hear you.
Hi, Nick.
There you are, man. That's frustrating. I don't want to do this. I was thinking it should be like Sunday.
I'm
Monster
positive.
trucks.
I was going to be positive that you were going to do this on your own for a minute.
I'm like, dude, immediately like angry. What the positive attitude? I got a positive attitude.
I didn't know I could frown like that.
Yeah,
I look like Walter, the
Walter Matthau.
yeah, that too.
Yeah, I look old. How do you maintain a positive attitude?
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank.
we're pretty positive people, I feel.
Doesn't attitude? So attitude, if you think about that, what does that mean? Attitude, because attitude, we say that you need to have a positive attitude, and the truth is that people do perform better when they have a positive outlook on life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, attitude, what does that mean for you?
I got told to adjust my attitude a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Mostly
man,
because
adjust that.
I didn't do well inside of rules or a box.
Yeah.
I think it's your outlook. I think it's how you're. I see it as a choice too.
Okay.
I see it as a way of being.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, it's really your choice. You could flip the switch instantly, and having a hard moment or strong feelings, but you could turn around and smile instantly and just change just like that. Like it's like you can do whatever you want. It's magical.
I pictured Blades of Glory, and you just did a spin, and you went,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that was my dream.
So it's a disposition. An attitude is a disposition. It's a perspective or perception of life. It's a way of seeing things. And you might go through a space where you feel really negative. You might feel anxiety. You might feel depression. And then it's up to you to turn it around. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. To maintain it, that's the big thing, is it's maintaining it is over a long term. To switch it, you can do that in a moment. And then to maintain it, there's probably some things that you could do. One of those for me is to reach out to other people. So when I can reach out and have a conversation with somebody and find out, they've got some ideas that might help me, or they're struggling and I can help them, that really helps me maintain an attitude, a positive attitude.
So like service and things like that.
Yeah.
Just take your eye off yourself.
Right. And choosing it, right? It's a choice to do it. So I remember when I was working at my last job, there were times where it felt really, and this is where we get off track, is we go off the feeling, like the emotion of it. And so that emotion of it can really impact how we show up. But the emotion is just an emotion. It's the froth on the surface, because underneath that is a thought that said that should come up. Mm-hmm. And below that is a belief that says that should come up. And then we make our choices from the froth, right? And so if that makes sense.
Stop making frothy choices.
Yeah. It's like the froth on the beer. You brush that off and get to it. But the attitude is what's going on underneath that, which is the choice or the belief or what you hold dear around what's most important. And so it really took me stepping back from the froth, the emotion, to just choose, like this is what I want to create in my world. So it's kind of having that vision of what you want as an outcome in that relationship or in that situation.
I wondered, as I saw the topic, I was wondering about like sometimes I think positivity seems to come natural to some people.
Yeah.
I've always been. I think I came out laughing. Nick joked this week as we were driving in southern Utah about dad jokes, and he was so happy that I was with him because I laugh at all his jokes.
Yeah, my kids don't laugh anymore. They're like, you're not that funny, Dad. And then Ryan laughs at every joke, so I'm like, this guy's great.
Yeah, just
I'll
stay
just
with
call
me
him
all
and
the
tell my
time.
jokes to him.
Yeah, because I will.
Yeah.
But I think there might be a little bit of a predisposition to in your who you are or in your makeup, but that doesn't mean that you can't do those other things. Maybe you
Right.
have to make it a little bit more like of a conscious thing. So if that's a struggle for you or for somebody, see how I put that as
Yeah.
you and then everyone else. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You're a
Thanks.
happy guy, and you do maintain a very positive outlook. But I know that there are some that don't. Like it doesn't come as natural to be as maybe happy all the time.
Well, I think it can be a skill, right? Like we come out and things are fairly neutral, and then we learn and create judgments around certain events in our life, and so that judgment can get in the way of us moving forward. So when we get into that judgment, really to be conscious that you're in judgment about the situation or the event,
Mm-hmm.
and then switch that judgment. Just switch it. Like it's if you're going down one track with it, move it to another track. Don't try and stop the other track necessarily, but move the energy to something more positive for you.
Mm-hmm.
And keep doing that. That's maintaining it, is keep doing that. So every time you find yourself in judgment about a person, an event, pause with that judgment and say, oh, wow, I'm in judgment. And then shift that. That becomes who you become, right? Who you are, or who you be.
Mm-hmm.
What
So
advice?
if you want to be happy, start being happy.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay, Melissa. So what advice can you give parents who are struggling to move their children into a positive mindset? So for me, what stands out is I can't give advice. I can share my experience, but I can't share advice. I could share what I've done, but that might be totally different from somebody else. And the other word that really stands out for me is move our kids into a positive attitude. Like we can inspire our kids, but they're humans just like we're humans. And so for me, if somebody were trying to move me from where I am and convince me that I need to be something different, I might resist that. And so one is letting go of the need to have them be different from what they are. So I would start with, like for my kids, accept that they're in a bad attitude or a negative attitude, right? And then I can do things for myself that might inspire them. And in some cases, Melissa, I might share some things with them. Like my daughter, Capri, one time she was really struggling. And I shared some insights with her. And I shared some knowledge with her. But I didn't push her to change it. I just said, look, here's some things that I do that work for me. And in an instant, she went from crying to laughing. She's like that. And then she
I remember
shifted
that
it
video.
for
You did a
herself.
video on it.
Yeah. And she did that for herself. So it's really inspiring them to do that for themselves. And sometimes when they have the knowledge, they'll do it. And sometimes they just don't want to. And honoring that can really kind of hold space for them to kind of work through it, continue to teach them. Maybe I'm telling the completely wrong advice here, because it is advice. Right.
When I was in Texas, I was talking to a high school shop teacher.
Yeah.
And he pulls out this paddle, and it had holes drilled into it so that it had less wind resistance. And it was named the attitude adjuster. Don't beat your kids.
Yeah.
But, that made me laugh. That could do it, but don't.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with spanking.
They called it pop. They called it pops in Houston.
Yeah.
You got popped if you were at school. Like
at school they did that,
yeah.
huh?
Oh yeah. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I am not recommending that at all. I grew up with that,
and there's better ways.
My attitude in any way. I could tell you that my attitude probably got worse because of that thing.
You know, and I
So
talked to a lot of the kids there too, and they said that they just got really good at clenching their
yeah,
butt
yeah.
cheeks, you know,
We would,
and they would just take the pops instead of like they'd miss class, go do whatever
yeah,
they wanted to do, and knew it was going to cost them a pop or two. They didn't
yeah,
care. They're like, whatever.
yeah. It seems like something like that, where the more forceful it is, the more they resist, just like we would. If somebody forces something on us, then we resist it. And so it's got to be a personal choice. So really teaching them to develop those things in the times when they're not in a negative attitude.
Yeah.
And so when they're in the space where they can really hear you, that's where they can learn it, and then try to get them to practice it inside of the negative attitude. But I remember, if my mom would say, "Well, you're in a negative attitude, you need to turn that around," I would totally resist. I'm like, "Well, you don't tell me what to do," kind of a thing. And so it didn't work out.
I think this was like a thing for like
Oh,
our age group, the wooden spoon. I've talked to a lot of friends, and it was
holy
like,
cow.
I wish I was a wooden spoon company at that point in time, because there's probably a lot of broken
They're all
spoons.
broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They make
And
a weak point just because they knew that it was going to happen.
yeah, that brought up some memories. Holy cow. Like, I remember my mom when I was a little kid, she would just line us up with a belt. And we would try and we learned that if you laughed, it wouldn't hurt as bad,
Oh.
which made it worse because we were laughing. And so she felt like we weren't getting the punishment. And so we'd laugh harder, and it was terrible. It was horrible. And then we'd put magazines in our pants, and she'd be like, yeah, yeah, it was,
See,
yeah.
I liked how you maintained a positive attitude
Yeah,
through
well,
through the
I'm
belt.
still here through the belt. Yeah, years later,
And then
with
we
all
all
my
laugh at it, like, ha
yeah,
ha, we got
yeah,
beat as children.
right, right. No, and some people have experienced worse,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so don't do that to your kids. Like, there's other ways. There's other ways. Teach them. They're going to grow up and be adults. Like the whole idea that your brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25. And so we have to act as surrogate brains for our kids while they're in development. So part of it is teaching them these principles, but also giving them room to practice it and trusting that they're adult enough as kids to be able to implement it for themselves.
And
Like they
Mancher is
will.
exactly right too, is that, if you have a positive mental attitude, you can deal with stress and negative situations in a much healthier way. So as
Yeah.
an adult learning these tools,
Yeah.
if there's stressful situations with children, things like that, you can learn the tools and the things so that you don't have to pull out the old wooden spoon or the
Yeah.
attitude adjuster.
Well, I
And
think that like
yeah.
Manchurian in India, right? There's some things that are really tough in India. And having a
Mm.
positive outlook through that difficulty, because I believe they're on lockdown. Economically, it's challenging. I know they're trying to create being in another country. And so for the show, if anybody knows anybody that could serve Manchuri out of India to help her get to Canada and her family, that would be awesome. That's an ask here. So just to be clear, I'm asking, but also through that to maintain a positive attitude through that challenge will help them stay on focus with their vision. And so that's another thing that could be created there.
And somebody in a situation like that where there is a lot of uncertainty,
Yeah.
they could have all the reasons not to have a positive attitude, and
Yeah.
your brain will justify those reasons.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you gotta work at it. You gotta work to be conscious of what's going on up here, because this is trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Start shifting, down. You can't see that. I just went down to my heart. You
I'm
just start
waiting for the
shifting
other half.
anything that'll work.
Shift down to 18 inches to the heart.
Yep.
Yep.
Go to the heart space
The
and
18-inch drop.
start thinking about thinking from there,
Yeah.
and you can adjust and throw on a smile.
Yeah.
Go out and look at a different way to view it, because
Yeah.
you can look at it as a negative experience, or you can look at it, we call it the dry rain. Well, we don't. Well, we do now, but
Yeah. Well, yeah.
we learned that.
We
So
borrowed that.
now it's
Yeah.
probably ours. But it can be
Yeah.
raining and then evaporating before it hits the ground. If your head's down, you don't see the rain. It's not raining. You're looking up. it's raining. And so that's total different perspective. And you could be happy that, hey, the sun came up.
Yeah.
That you have life today. That you have children. That that you have air to breathe. It's something. You could find things that will help you to start seeing that and shifting that energy.
Yeah, I like that shift of perspective. So the gratitude for the good things, and then the how can I? Because I hear a lot of times I can't. I don't know somebody there, or I can't do this thing because, and there's all these justifications for why you can't. And that's part of that negative attitude. Like, open up to how can I? What's possible? What's good about this situation? What can I create from this?
Mm-hmm.
That's all choice. That's choice. That's within you to do that. Ryan Morris, that's within you. So everybody else, they're all good. But Ryan Morris, no, I'm just messing.
I'm going to put on a different hat.
Yeah. No, just hear that though. Like, this is for me too. Like, when you're in that situation, like, I sound like an 80s teenager. Like, like we were down at, I can't even speak it. But here we are.
All I heard was the movie Clueless as you were doing that.
Yeah. Well, go shift it, right? Dry rain. Go shift it. Look up.
Go watch the movie Clueless.
Yeah, perfect. Any other thoughts?
Make it a giant day.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Love you too.